Hey, Awesomes. How is everyone doing? Hope you're having a great weekend or had a great weekend, depending on when you watch this. All right, so we are strolling into week 3 already. Even though week 1 was kind of an abbreviated week. For us, though, as we're calling it here for our purposes, it's week 3. So thank you to everyone who submitted your Project 1 draft and provided feedback to a few of your colleagues. That was incredible. It's Sunday afternoon right now. I'm still looking over those, but what I've read and seen so far has been really, really, really good. So I appreciate your participation. And so for this video here, we're literally just going to kind of look at kind of an overview of what we have going on this week. So there's 2 major things, obviously, right? We're going to start to talk about Project 2. A little bit more involved. So we have considerable more time on this one. We don't have a draft due of it this week. That draft's not due for 2 weeks. And we need to revise Project 1 because it is due this Sunday, July 23rd, to Moodle. And I'll have that Dropbox. I'll show you where that's at here in a minute. So we're going to focus on, since we're talking about job application, the dossier, right? It's basically job career materials that we're going to put together. So you're going to need to find a job posting, an actual real one that you would want to apply for. Pretend like you're graduated, right? You have your degree. It's the dream job or the job that you might expect or that you're hoping to get. Okay, so I want you to be thinking about that. So when we find that job advertisement, then we're going to need to write a cover letter and put together a resume. So we're going to talk about designing the job advertising documents a little bit this week. And then, of course, obviously, we'll talk about revising Project 1. One of the texts I want you to start reading this week, we'll tease out some of the major concepts from Kramer and Bernhardt, which I have linked here. You can also find it in the Project 2 resources, which I'll show you here in a moment. So start with that, maybe. I'll make sure you look over Project 2, right? Because you're going to need to submit kind of 3 things with it. The job advertisement that you find, the cover letter that you write, and the resume that you design and also write. And then, of course, we'll be talking more in another video for revising, editing, and proofreading. In the revision process, we're kind of taking in feedback. Then we're going to go through and edit it and make sure we've got everything, especially with content, is good. And then we proofread it to make sure we don't have any other typos and little things like that. And we'll talk about that in that video. And of course, for this week, obviously, watch the videos. You're watching the week 3 overview video now. As I always try to do, especially these classes that are condensed, obviously make sure you watch the week 3 videos that I'm putting together today for you. Read over the Project 2 assignment description, read Kramer and Bernhardt, read over the Project 2 samples, read over Project 1, and then, of course, revise Project 1, and then, of course, submit it this weekend. And probably something I should probably throw on there and add to that as far as something that you want to make sure that you get started on sooner rather than later is finding your job ad, right? Before you start writing a cover letter and before you start putting together a resume and actually filling in the specific words, the first thing that you want to have is the actual job ad to which you are responding. So you want to make sure you find that, copy and paste it, put it on the document, right? Because you're going to just put everything in one document, copy and paste in the job ad. And the next page, page 2, will be your cover letter. Page 3 then would be your resume. All right, so that just kind of gives you an overview of the week, kind of what to expect, what to be working on, kind of what your goals are for this week. And so we'll start talking about Project 2, talking more about finding the job ad when I introduce that project. We'll go over some of the design principles. We won't spend as much time on those this week, but we want to get started on those because we want to be thinking about those as we think about putting our resume together, especially. And I'll give you some tips on revising Project 1. All right, guys, that does it for the overview. Hope you have a great week. If there's anything